My in-laws changed my baby's name on the birth certificate while I was sleeping in the hospital, then told everyone it was my idea. So I did this at their family dinner, and they went nuclear. I, female, 32, just had my first baby 2 weeks ago after the most brutal 36-hour labor that ended in an emergency C-section. Not what I planned at all, but whatever. We're both alive. I'm still recovering physically and emotionally, and honestly, the hormones are making everything like 10x worse right now. But I need to get this out because I feel like I'm going crazy and I don't know if I'm overreacting. So me and my husband, Jack, male, 34, have been together for 5 years, married for 3. He's generally a really good guy. I mean, he has his moments like anyone, lol. But his mother, Dorothy, female, 58, has always been a lot. She's one of those women who thinks her opinions should be the final word on everything. I've mostly managed to keep the peace because Jack is pretty good about standing up to her when it really matters. When I got pregnant, we were both super excited and started talking about names pretty early. I've always known that if I had a daughter, I wanted to name her after my mom, who passed away from breast cancer when I was 19. My mom, Lily Marie, was literally my best friend and biggest supporter my whole life, and losing her destroyed me for a long time. Jack knew how important this was to me and was completely on board with naming our daughter Lily Marie. Enter Dorothy. From the minute she found out we were having a girl, she started with the name suggestions. At first, she would just tell me she loved names like Elizabeth or Charlotte. I would smile and tell her we were set on Lily Marie and try to change the subject, but she just kept pushing it. It got to the point where every time we saw her, which is a lot, but they only live 20 minutes away, she would bring up names. She even started calling my belly Little Elizabeth, or sometimes Little Charlotte, which made me want to scream. I told Jack it was driving me nuts, and he did talk to her a couple times, but she would just brush it off, saying she was just giving suggestions. One time, I was like 7 months pregnant. She told me Lily was an old lady name and asked if I wanted something more modern. I almost lost it because 1, Lily is literally a flower. How is that an old lady name? And 2, it was my mother's name who died of cancer. Like, have some respect. Jack told her that was inappropriate and we left early. She sent me a text later basically saying she was sorry if I was upset, but she just wanted the best for her grandbaby. Anyway, fast forward to 2 weeks ago. I go into labor and it was absolute hell. After 36 hours with no sleep, the baby's heart rate started dropping and they rushed me in for an emergency C-section. I was exhausted, terrified, and they had me on all these drugs that made me super out of it. Jack was there the whole time and was actually amazing. When they finally got our daughter out, I got to see her for like 2 minutes before they took her to the NICU for monitoring. She's totally fine now. I was still pretty out of it for the next 24 hours or so because of all the meds and pain and everything. Here's where it gets messed up. Apparently, while I was basically unconscious recovering, Dorothy showed up at the hospital. They live close by, and Jack had texted them when we went in. Jack was going back and forth between checking on me and checking on the baby. At some point, Dorothy offered to help with the paperwork stuff, since Jack was stressed and exhausted too. I didn't find out until yesterday that when Dorothy helped with the paperwork, she put down Charlotte Elizabeth as my daughter's name on the birth certificate, not Lily Marie. My husband apparently signed it without looking carefully because he was sleep deprived and stressed about me and the baby. I am absolutely livid. This was my one thing, the one thing that meant everything to me, naming my daughter after my mom, who I lost way too young. And this woman just took that from me, like it was nothing. When I found out, I was looking at the birth certificate copies we got in the mail. I completely broke down. Jack says he had no idea, and he's furious too. He called his mom immediately, and she told him Charlotte Elizabeth sounded better and would give the baby a better start in life. She said we'd thank her later. Thank her. Is she insane? This is identity fraud or something, right? Can we even fix this? We've been calling her Lily since she was born. She is Lily, not Charlotte, not Elizabeth. Lily Marie. Jack is saying we can get it changed, but it'll be a whole legal process. And his mom is now crying to everyone about how I'm attacking her when she was just trying to help and thought we'd be happy with a better name. Am I crazy for being this upset? I haven't slept in like 48 hours because I'm so angry and sad and I don't even know what to do. Has anyone dealt with anything like this before? How do I handle this without completely destroying my relationship with my in-laws? Though honestly, right now, I never want to see that woman again. Edit. Some people are asking why Jack didn't notice the name change. He said he was basically a zombie after being up for almost 40 hours straight and was focused on making sure I and the baby were okay. Not making excuses for him, but I do believe him. He's as angry as I am and has been on the phone all day trying to figure out how to fix this. Edit 2. Thank you all for the supportive comments. To those asking if my mother-in-law has always been this controlling, yes, there have been many other incidents, like rearranging our kitchen when we were on our honeymoon because she knew a better system. But this is by far the worst thing she's ever done. Edit 3. A lot of you are asking if this is even legal. I don't know. That's part of why I'm freaking out. How could they just let someone who isn't the mother fill out this information? I'm calling the hospital tomorrow to find out what happened exactly and what our options are. Now for the first update. So a lot has happened since I posted. After reading all your comments, seriously, there were so many. I couldn't even respond to all of them. I called my friend Angela, who works as a paralegal at a family law firm. We've been friends since college, and I knew she would give me straight answers. I was still pretty emotional when I called her, and probably made no sense for the first 10 minutes of our convo. Angela was super angry on my behalf. I could hear her typing while I was talking to her. She confirmed what a lot of you were saying. What Dorothy did was 100% illegal. It's identity fraud to forge consent for a birth certificate, and the hospital actually messed up big time by allowing someone who wasn't me or Jack to fill out that paperwork. Angela said I have a really strong case to get this fixed, and potentially could press charges against Dorothy if I wanted to. Not sure I want to go that far yet, but it's nice to know the option is there. Anyway, this past week has been exhausting, trying to gather all the evidence while also, taking care of a newborn and recovering from major surgery. My incision still hurts like hell when I move wrong. But I wanted to be prepared before confronting Dorothy again or going to the hospital. Here's what I've collected so far. About 1 million text messages between me and Jack over the past 9 months where we talk about naming the baby Lily Marie. My written birth plan that I gave to the hospital that clearly states we plan to name her Lily Marie. Found this in my hospital bag. Thank God I didn't throw it out. Hospital records showing I was on some pretty heavy pain meds during the time Dorothy claims I gave consent for the name change. I was literally unconscious half the time. How could I consent to anything? And this was the craziest part. I actually went back to the hospital to talk to the staff who were there that day and found this awesome nurse named Tara who remembered everything. She told me Dorothy was super pushy about helping with the paperwork and kept saying she was authorized by the mother to complete it. Tara said she thought it was weird, but the administrative person was new and got intimidated. Tara even offered to write a statement for me if I need it for the legal stuff. Oh, and Angela helped me start the process for correcting the birth certificate. We filed all the paperwork, but apparently it's going to take like 3 to 4 weeks to process because, of course, bureaucracy moves at the speed of a dead snail. In the meantime, we're still calling her Lily. I refuse to use the other name. It's not her name. So 3 days ago, Jack suggested we go talk to his parents in person to try to resolve this as a family. I was reluctant, but agreed because Jack said his dad was really upset about what Dorothy did too and wanted to apologize. Well, that was a mistake. We get to their house and I'm already super anxious because I haven't seen Dorothy since before I gave birth. Jack is holding the baby, and I'm honestly grateful because I don't think I could handle Dorothy trying to take her from me right now. As soon as we walk in, Dorothy rushes over saying, "Oh, there's my little Charlotte." And I almost turned around and left right then. Jack immediately told her that her name is Lily, and we've talked about this. Dorothy just laughed like he's making some kind of joke. We sit down in their living room, me very carefully because, again, C-section recovery is no joke. And Jack's dad starts by actually apologizing, which surprised me. He said he had no idea what Dorothy had done until Jack called them furious the other day, and he agrees it was completely inappropriate. Dorothy interrupted him and said she didn't understand why everyone was making such a big deal about this. She said Charlotte Elizabeth is a beautiful name with history and strength, while Lily is just a flower. I tried to stay calm and explained again that Lily was my mother's name and that naming our daughter after her was incredibly important to me. I told her we've already started the process to correct the birth certificate. She laughed. She actually laughed and said I'd get used to Charlotte and that it suited her better anyway. I was shaking, but trying not to completely lose it. Jack told his mom this wasn't a discussion and what she did was illegal. She committed fraud. Dorothy's face changed immediately and she started crying, the fakest tears I have ever seen in my life. She claimed she was just trying to help while we were overwhelmed and thought we had discussed Charlotte as an option. We never discussed Charlotte as an option, not once. I told her this and she just shook her head like I'm lying. Then she told us she'd already ordered a custom blanket with Charlotte Elizabeth monogrammed on it and told all her friends at church about her granddaughter Charlotte. She said it would be so confusing to change it now. I didn't even know how to respond to that. Like, sorry, your fraudulently obtained monogram blanket will go to waste. I literally just stared at her. Jack stood up, still holding Lily, and told his mom he loves her, but what she did was wrong. He said her name is Lily Marie, after my mother, and that's final. He said the legal process has already started. Dorothy started full-on sobbing and ran out of the room. Jack's dad looked embarrassed and apologized again. He said he'd talk to her and try to make her understand. We left pretty soon after that. On the drive home, Jack was really quiet and finally said, I had no idea my mom could do something like this. Welcome to my world, dude. So that's where we are now. The paperwork is filed to fix the birth certificate. Dorothy is playing the victim to anyone who will listen. She's apparently telling people I'm having postpartum psychosis, and that's why I'm so fixated on the name. And I'm just trying to enjoy my baby despite all this mess. Jack has been really supportive through all this. Unlike what some commenters predicted, he really is on my side here and has told his mom she's not allowed to see the baby again until she apologizes sincerely and accepts that her name is Lily. Oh, and I've decided that Dorothy will never, ever be left alone with my daughter. Like, ever. Not after she crossed such a huge line. I'm still angry, but at least now I feel like I'm taking back some control. Thanks again for all your support. It really helped me realize I'm not crazy for being upset about this. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up again. To answer some common questions. 1. Yes, we're pursuing legal action against the hospital too. Angela says they violated several protocols by allowing someone who wasn't me or Jack to fill out those forms. 2. No, I don't think Dorothy is mentally ill like some of you suggested. She's just incredibly controlling and used to getting her way. 3. Jack is 100% on my side and is actually the one who suggested cutting contact if his mom doesn't apologize genuinely. Now for the second update. Sorry it's taken me so long to update. The past week has been complete mess following what my sister calls Namegate. I've been meaning to post for days, but between taking care of Lily, my still healing C-section, and all the family stuff, I haven't had time to type all this out. So, a lot has happened. First of all, thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. I tried to read all of them, but there were seriously hundreds, and I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep most days. To the people who shared similar mother-in-law stories, I'm so sorry you dealt with that too, and thanks for making me feel less alone. Okay, so where did I leave off? Right, we had filed the paperwork to correct Lily's birth certificate, and Jack had told his mom she couldn't see the baby until she genuinely apologized. Well, Dorothy decided that was unacceptable. 3 days after our confrontation at their house, Dorothy showed up at our door unannounced with a giant gift basket full of baby stuff, all monogrammed with CE for Charlotte Elizabeth. Blankets, onesies, a silver rattle, all with those initials. Jack answered the door and I was in the bedroom feeding Lily, but I could hear everything. Dorothy came to see the baby and Jack reminded her about the apology. She said she brought gifts as a peace offering, but wouldn't actually apologize for what she did. She kept saying she was just trying to help and we were overreacting. Jack told her to leave and she refused. She just stood there saying she had a right to see her grandbaby. I got so anxious listening to this that my milk stopped letting down. Lily started crying because she was hungry, which Dorothy heard. Then she tried to push past Jack, saying the baby needs her grandma. Jack physically had to block the doorway and told her if she didn't leave, he would call the police. She started crying, saying he was choosing me over his own mother and family. He shut the door in her face. The next day, Jack's phone started blowing up with texts and calls from his extended family. Dorothy had called everyone, saying we were keeping her from her granddaughter because of my postpartum hormones and that we were abusing her by cutting her off. She even told some people that I was having serious mental health issues and shouldn't be left alone with the baby. Jack was furious. He tried explaining to everyone what really happened, but a lot of them were like, "It's just a name. Why are you being so harsh?" Like, what? It's not just a name. It's my daughter's identity and a tribute to my mother. And she forged documents. Jack ended up sending a mass text to his whole family explaining exactly what happened, that Dorothy committed actual fraud, that we're in the process of legally changing the birth certificate, and that anyone who continues to call our daughter by the wrong name or tries to pressure us into forgiving Dorothy before she takes responsibility will also be cut off from seeing Lily. I was surprised at how firm he was being. And not gonna lie, seeing him stand up for us like that was kind of hot. Mama hormones are weird. Most of his family backed off after that, but a few of the more dramatic ones, mainly Dorothy's sisters, kept messaging about family harmony and letting things go. One aunt even suggested we use Charlotte as a middle name as a compromise, which nope. Her name is Lily Marie, period. My friend Angela, who's been helping us, found out the hospital clerk who let Dorothy fill out the paperwork was actually her friend's daughter. They knew each other. The girl admitted to her supervisor that Dorothy had told her I approved the name change but was too tired to fill out the paperwork myself. Complete lies. The hospital is now investigating, and that clerk has been suspended. They also fast-tracked our birth certificate correction. Turns out hospitals move a lot faster when you mention words like negligence and potential lawsuit. We should have the corrected certificate in a few days instead of weeks. In the meantime, Jack has gone completely no contact with his mom. He blocked her number after she kept sending messages about how heartbroken she is and how she just wants to love her granddaughter. His dad called a couple times trying to smooth things over, saying Dorothy is just old-fashioned and meant well. Jack told his dad he's welcome to visit. He's been respectful about calling her Lily, but that his mom needs serious help and won't be seeing the baby until she gets it and sincerely apologizes. I honestly never expected Jack to be this supportive. A lot of you in the comments were worried he'd cave to his mom's pressure, but he's been amazing through all of this. He even took a couple extra weeks off work to help with the baby so I can rest more and heal from my C-section. As for me, I'm doing okay physically, I guess. My incision is healing, but still hurts when I laugh or cough. And oh my freaking God, trying to get out of bed is a whole ordeal. Emotionally, I'm up and down. One minute I'm happy looking at Lily's perfect little face, and the next I'm sobbing about how Dorothy tried to erase my mom's memory. The postpartum hormones are rough. I started seeing a therapist, virtually for now, to help process all this. She said what I'm feeling is completely normal given what happened, and that Dorothy's behavior shows serious boundary issues. My dad came to visit for a few days to meet his granddaughter, and he was livid about what Dorothy did. He kept offering to have a word with her. It was really nice having him here, though. He cried when he held Lily and said my mom would be so proud. That meant everything to me. So that's where we are now. Still waiting on the official corrected birth certificate, dealing with fallout from Dorothy's lies, and trying to enjoy these newborn days despite everything. I'm just so grateful for Jack standing by me through all this. Thanks again for all the support and advice. It really helped me feel validated when Dorothy and some of Jack's family were trying to make me feel crazy for being upset. Edit. To the people asking if we're still pursuing legal action against the hospital, yes. Angela says we have a solid case for negligence since they allowed someone unauthorized to fill out legal documents, especially after finding out the clerk and Dorothy knew each other. We're waiting to see what the hospital offers before deciding next steps. Someone asked about Dorothy's history with boundary issues. So many. She showed up unannounced at our honeymoon hotel as a surprise. She rearranged our kitchen while we were away to be more efficient. She had a key to our house made without asking, which Jack took back immediately. And she announced my pregnancy to everyone on Facebook before we were ready to tell people. For those wondering why we don't just get a restraining order, we're considering it if she shows up unannounced again. But Jack wants to try setting firm boundaries first before going that route. I'm letting him take the lead on handling his mom, but my priority is protecting Lily no matter what. Oh my freaking God. Some of you are asking if I'm making this up. I wish. Why would anyone make up something this stressful? I'm literally typing this with one hand while holding my baby and haven't showered in 3 days. This is unfortunately 100% real.